Hi there. Good morning or good evening if you are in other parts of the world. I am in Norway, and yeah, it's very early here. Um, but anyway, if I was an evil dictator, think, like Dr. Evil from those funny movies, um, like, or James Bond villain who wants to take over the world. What I would do is to create division between Europe and the USA. That's what I would do. And I would consistently spread lies through social media to create a division fueled by emotions, obviously not based on facts. And I would keep doing that. Let's just give it a few seconds here while people are joining the chat. And it all will make sense if you stick around and listen. We're going to have a conversation here in the live here in the chat. You have to be a subscriber to the channel to join the chat, by the way. The title is not my best. I don't like the word psyop. I don't like that word. It's used a lot by people who think that, who will typically say when bad things happen, they will say it's all by design, as if everything bad happening is designed and it's planned for and so on. And I think the world works in a much more chaotic, if you will, or organic way. But okay. So if I was an evil dictator, if I was like a James Bond villain who wants to take over the world, I would create division between the USA and Europe. And I would do that because that coalition, that friendship, has been very strong for a long time, obviously based on the fact that the post-Columbus North American civilization is dominated by people who came from or have their ancestry in Europe. So there's a fellowship there, and you will have people in the USA, I have noticed, who will say, I'm Norwegian, because their great grandfather was Norwegian. So yeah, there's an identity there. But what I'm seeing now is proper lies being spread and being popularized through social media. Now, we know for a fact that, let's call it for what it is, foreign governments, like the Russian, have been using social media to spread division and to spread lies and to popularize lies. And one of those lies, you know what, I will read a comment to one of my videos on the main channel. And you will, this kind of comment is far too common now. I see these comments quite a lot. And I see them, this is not really a topic I talk about all the time, but it's like I get comments like this on most of my videos on the main channel, even the videos that has nothing to do with it, nothing at all. So I'll just read the comment, and I am sorry about. I'll just read the comment. There are some rude words here. So there's a person here. He or she, probably a he, has 4 subscribers. There's a photo there in the like the nickname. That's Jesus there. And he writes, Europeans have no values. They were perfectly happy to leech off of the American taxpayers for the last 80 years and have not come close to paying for their own security. By tribal, do you mean how all Germans spend their lives on their knees sucking government? See, ... Germans, just like all of the UK and most other Europeans, not Poland, are willing, subservient, and have no backbone. All Europeans do is parrot what their socialist overlords tell them about America. We are fed up with European pansies running their months. If European turds want respect, maybe they should get off their knees and do something for the first time in 150 years. Now, it's easy to just laugh at the ignorance displayed in a comment like that. And it's very easy to just, you just shake your head and, none of that is true. And if you look at the numbers, if you paid attention in school at all, you just have to laugh at comments like that. But the thing is, I am seeing a lot of these comments, a lot, and it's a symptom of something. And of course, you could say, and a lot of people will say, this is a comment written in a one of these Russian troll, they call them troll factories. And if you don't know what that is, then you can look it up. It's easy to find. And we can pick apart a comment like that, but it's not really worth the time. I will just comment on 2 things. The idea that Europeans haven't done anything for themselves, that Europeans are weak, pansies, haven't fought for their freedom, and so on and so on. Like there was a World War I and a World War II, and after that, several wars where the USA asked for support and got support in the form of people, soldiers from European countries who went and fought alongside American soldiers, died, got injured, many of them. And this has been kind of shaping European history and European culture. And it's not a good thing. I'm not saying this to kind of brag. I don't think those wars should ever have happened, like the wars where The Western nations go into some other country and they say, here we are with we are coming with democracy and freedom and all of that. It never ends well. Okay, so so there's that. And the other thing, which is, so it's obviously stupid, but the other thing, which is kind of easy to believe in, is the lie that American taxpayers, and I want you to follow my train of thought, or just to follow what I'm saying here now. The idea that American taxpayers have been paying for defending Europe or European security, NATO, and so on. Okay? This is being said and written on social media quite a lot now. Okay. So I believe that when it comes to spending on your, what's it called in English, your military, yeah, the military, all of the military divisions in a country, defense spending, yeah, in relation to your GDP, I think, to be fair, the USA, I think, is on third or fourth place. So it's very high up on the list. I get it. I mean, most people seem to think that the USA is on top of that list. That's not true. But nevertheless, the USA is high up on that list. Now, if you follow that logic, you would then have to assume that all of USA spending on their military divisions, all of that spending is to defend Europe, which obviously is not true. Defense spending, yes, Roger, thank you. Defense spending. So it's not like, I mean, this is what people need to understand, okay? The USA has full autonomy when it comes to deciding how much of their GDP to spend, how much money to spend on their defense, so-called defense, their military divisions. It's not like that is done to defend Europe. And this is where this is what people seem to have a very, I know, people don't think anymore. People just react based on their emotions. It's tribal, it's not making any sense anymore. But I'll still say this, okay? The idea that American taxpayers' money is funding the defense of Europe is naive at best, and it's very ignorant, and it's just stupid, because it is not true. It's the defense spending that the American defense spending is based on the fact that America has been invading other countries for decades. Why? Well, you have to look at which companies and which interests have established themselves in those territories after those invasions. This is business. War is business. The same with the so-called mineral deal in Ukraine. It's to insert American companies in that country. So, okay. I'll return now to what I said to begin with. If I was an evil dictator, think Doctor Evil from those funny movies, or um, a James Bond villain. What I would do is to create a division between the USA and Europe. I would look at the cultural differences, and I would have people working using social media to highlight those differences. I would want to spread lies, and I would tweak things so that it looks like, for instance, the USA defense spending. I would what's the word? I would spin the narrative so that suddenly becomes, oh, look at all those money. It's to defend the weak Europeans, and that's not fair. And I would keep saying that. I would keep writing that in social media. I would watch it spread, and I would watch it create division. And I think that's exactly what's happening. Because we are now at the point where you can present the facts, and you can l- apply common logic, but it doesn't matter. So the so-called Psyop has been very effective. And what's happening now with this division between the USA and Europe is, I mean, is there even enough champagne in Kremlin? I don't know. I don't know. They it's like we're almost hearing them popping the champagne bottles here in Norway over there. I mean, they must be celebrating like crazy because it's basically the best thing that could have happened. But it's not a coincidence. This thing has been planned for. So now another topic, Rob, as you're mentioning, is that if you want to weaken a nation, you create division within that nation. Because a nation that is where the citizens feel safe, where they feel that they are treated in a fair way, um, it's you don't want a nation like that as your enemy. You want a divided nation as your enemy. I've had messages from, not many, but some messages from people from the USA. That was before the election. And they said that they were moving to Russia because Russia was, still is maybe, the, advertising for foreigners to come there to work as this. One guy was going to work as a bus driver in Russia. And what some of these people wrote to me is that there is no freedom under the socialist government in the USA. So they would move to Russia to live in freedom. And I think someone were had a rude awakening. A rude awakening. So yeah, I know it's dumb, but it's just it tells a little bit or quite a lot about how the propaganda, how effective it has been. You know, um, and yeah, I've been to Russia, and nice people, wonderful country, but it's not a country where you can live if you want to have if you need free speech, for instance. I'm a novelist. I Hi there, Carola. I'll get to the chat in a few seconds now. So it's obviously not a place to live if you want free speech. Okay, so I just wanted to share this because, and yes, people will be writing in the comments that, oh, we are tired of funding Europe, weak Europeans, and all that. But now, what I'm saying here is not it's not brilliant. It's not revolutionary. This is just looking at the numbers, and when you do that, when you look at the facts, yeah, this rhetoric displayed by people like J.D. Vance, you can see how at best stupid and ignorant it is. When it comes to J.D. Vance, I don't think he's stupid, which makes the whole thing a little bit more scary, because I think that he knows that what he is saying is not true. But someone like that, it's the most dangerous kind of politician, the most dangerous kind. He has no principles. He will do whatever he needs to do to insert himself in a position of power. But anyway, let's see here. A lot of people I have noticed are writing that they are from the USA and they don't hate Europe or Europeans, which of course I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about other people, a lot of other people. Let's see. Let's see here. I'll scroll up a little bit. Yeah, all the Trump thing with the tariffs and all of that is, well, I will say this: it's very interesting for someone who has actually studied economy, and it's interesting to see who is benefiting from that, and the correlation with who donated to Trump's campaign. Okay. Future Trunk says Americans have the Second Amendment. That is the difference, plain and simple. That's where you have the right to carry guns. Please explain, if you're still watching Future Trunks, how that makes any difference. I haven't seen how it's made any difference at all. I don't see how it has contributed to freedom in the US of A. Let's see here. Yeah, well, Veronica, the art of the deal, it was not written by Trump. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, it was narrow. I know a little bit about writing books. Okay, Trump himself did not sit there and write that book. Why? What don't you like about J.D. Vance? Oh, that's a long list. That's a long list. I won't even. The lying, for once, that's one thing. I don't like people who lie. Lucy says Trump's greatest strength is being a somewhat charismatic speaker, as well as surrounding himself with others of high charisma. Who are the other people with high charisma? I haven't seen them. I haven't seen any. Yeah, Dead Wolf Resistance 13 about the Second Amendment. This is a thing that is difficult to talk about because I can't read your comment out loud. I can't say anything that would make some people listening maybe want to prove me wrong, if you get my meaning. That would be horrible. So, Yuval is saying, I sense you guys in Europe starting to like to bash America lately more than ever. Why? Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're being told consistently that you're weak, that you can't defend your country, that you are weak pansies, that you never contributed in any war, and so on and so on. While I have someone over here, he was killed in Afghanistan fighting alongside American soldiers. I don't know. Maybe people here don't like that so much. You know, maybe you wouldn't like it either if it was directed towards you. Okay. So, let's see here. Ian, I don't get it. You are a member to this channel, and you're writing, I don't know, but you are weak and have been for many years. I don't get it. What do you mean? Okay. You have to forgive me if I reply to something that was taken out of context. I have to apologize. I think it means you're weak on immigration. Well, so is the USA. Flooding the border from Mexico. The border from Mexico was flooded by immigrants. So you're clearly weak then. I mean, when I say it like that, you can hear how stupid it sounds, you know? Okay. So, okay, this is one of the things that irritates me a little bit, okay? How people, especially in the USA, tend to view Europe as a country. And they tend to think that all European countries are part of the EU. So Norway has not had a very high immigration. Okay, we're not like Sweden, and we're not part of the EU. You know, and I get it. It's difficult to know the difference and so on. But it's also important to try to that we all try to educate ourselves. Um, so well, there's a lot that JD Vance has been saying, and unless everything I've seen in the news is for fake AI generated, and it's not. He has said those things. It's like, I'll give one example. He went to Greenland for a PR promotion tour, and he was standing there and criticizing Denmark for how they in the past have treated the Greenlanders. And I think he's not wrong. And Denmark has taken a lot of criticism. They will say it themselves. If you ask Danish politicians, they will say and tell you about the wrongs that were made in the past towards the people on Greenland. But it's a little bit like, look who's talking. And when a person like that standing there with his soft hands and he's saying actually that the USA will kind of take care of you people on Greenland. I don't know. I can't think of any country that has treated their natives and their native cultures worse than the USA. Maybe Canada, you know. So look who's talking. I mean, yeah. So, okay. Ian says Denmark has done nothing for Greenland for years. Now, I want to be kind, and I want to. But I will encourage everyone to look at the proper numbers, look at the proper facts. Denmark has actually done a lot for Greenland, 4 years. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, but for many years. Money. So they are subsidizing Greenland a lot. Okay. Yeah, algorithm, I agree. I'm surprised how many still use mainstream media for the news. But the mainstream media is promoting. Well, it depends, what is mainstream media. Fox News is mainstream media. Large YouTube channels I view as mainstream media, and a lot of those are just spreading the lies, using the same talking points and so on. April is asking, you don't think the US could help Greenland better than Denmark has? I don't think the US is interested in helping Greenland. I think certain people in the cabinets right behind Trump is interested in investing in Greenland for profit. I think they are interested in establishing themselves as mining companies there. And I think that they have economic interest in Greenland. I don't think they're interested in helping Greenland. So, let's see here. Yeah. Now, it is interesting to see how the USA is now following in the footsteps of other nations who reached a very high level of national debt. Debt. It is interesting to see that they all seem to direct attention, the attention of the people, towards outside forces, because it's all going to hell in a handbasket. And you had, you had 8 years of Biden, financial mistreatment of a country, pretty much, which was, they were kind of kicking the can down the road. And so something bad was going to happen financially anyway. And now it is happening. And it seems like what needs to be done is to direct attention towards someone else, something outside of the borders. So it all fits together. Okay. And while it's easy to look at the financial situation and the economic situation and the socio-economic situation in a country like the USA and point at several factors, and I will point at some of them right now. A economy which is very service-based, but its identity is industry, more or less, at least towards the Republicans view it that way. You have a very, very high level of debt. You have very, very high level of like private credit card debt. Very high level of an economy influenced and almost based on illegal immigration. And also an economy dependent on import. A printing of money that has been going on for a long, long time. And what should we call it? An identity where, the American dream and all of that, an identity that goes against investing in welfare. It's funny how America has such a high level of taxation, but such low level of guaranteed welfare. When I was in the USA, that was the first time I saw crazy people in the streets. And I was shocked. Because I had never seen that before. And it's also, I country with a high level of division within the country. And for instance, I mean, a detachment from facts, like Claude here is writing, does Europe realize that their ship will sink if the US stops giving it welfare money? And it's like, what? A comment like that has no attachment to reality at all. So now the economy in the USA is tanking. We're seeing the first layoffs. No, Paddy, America does not defend Europe. That's not the case. Okay. So, let's see here. Yeah. We have stirred up some emotions here, which is okay to do now and then. And even within the members, no, the subscribers here, I mean, you can subscribe just to comment. And I think a lot of people will be surprised. The expression is a rude awakening, I think. So, yeah. Okay. We'll end there.